Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here again with some more geeky news. It's a bit windy again tonight, so you can't hear it's all blowing down the chimney and blowing about all over outside. But luckily Princess is not out in it tonight. She's upstairs. She might come down to see us. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Anyway, so news tonight. Got some Star Wars news and some... I can't remember. We'll have to see, won't we? Right, off we go. What we got? Ba-dum. There we go. Big news. You've probably heard already. Star Wars legend John Williams ventures to small screen to compose Obi-Wan Kenobi theme. And this is from SciFi.com, Sci-Fi Wire. As usual, all the links will be in the description. Oh, it'll be in the description box below. So I'm knocking my microphone. It'll be in the description box below. And... so then you can follow the links and any subsequent links that those links may contain, etc. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and drop a comment in the comments below. And, you know, let's try and get this channel moving. Woohoo! Anyway, oh, pardon me, I'm burping and I haven't even had any pop. I'm just drinking water tonight. Right, here we go. Here we go. There's the great man himself. Right, here we go. How are you seeing that writing? Yeah, you can see it. Right. Composer John Williams is once again heading to a galaxy far, far away. The legendary music talent has returned to Star Wars to write the main score to Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi series. According to Variety, Williams recorded with an orchestra last week somewhere in a very secure location in Los Angeles, though not secure enough that word didn't get around. Williams is no stranger to composing in the Star Wars world. He created the score for 9 Star Wars movies and won an Oscar for his work on the first Star Wars film. He seldom writes for television, however, which makes his participation in Obi-Wan Kenobi particularly notable. But remember, one of his first jobs was he wrote the theme, didn't he, for Lost in Space, the original TV series. So there you go. So it's full circle. Anyway, this is, oh god, I went too far then. This also isn't the first time the 90-year-old Williams has created music for the character Obi-Wan. Williams created the theme for Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan in the first film and also scored the prequels, which had Ewan McGregor in the role. We don't know whether the score Williams put together for the upcoming series will be an extension of either of these musical treatments, but whatever he has created will be sure to make fans excited. And we don't have to wait much longer to hear what Williams put together. Just last week, Disney Plus announced that Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi will premiere on the streaming platform on May 25th, 2022. Williams isn't the only Star Wars alum taking part in the show. McGregor is coming back as Obi-Wan along with Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. They'll be joined by actors Moses Ingram, Joel Edgerton, Bonnie Peace, Kumail Nanjiani, Indira Varma, Rupert Friend, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sung Kang, Simone Kessel and Benny Safdie. May the Force be with you as we count down the days until Obi-Wan's premiere. Oh, that's it. So there we go. John Williams back twirling his baton again for Star Wars, and that's good to hear. I know it's only the theme. Somebody else is doing the score for the full series. Williams just doing the Obi-Wan theme, which hopefully will be super ace and cool. So there we go. Thank you, Mr. Williams. It'll be a sad day when you're no longer here. It will. Anyway, next up, are you ready? Stranger Things announces season 4 release date and confirms last season 5. And there's a bit of the poster with the spooky goings on, with, I don't know. It's the beginning of the end for Hawkins, 11 and the Upside Down, with Stranger Things creator the Duffer Brothers announcing some big next steps for the beloved Netflix sci-fi series. The good news, fans don't have too long to wait until season 4, with the first episodes debuting on 27th of May, just 2 days after Obi-Wan. Oh, and there's a load of new posters teasing locations from the new season, which is always nice. The slightly less good news, the 9-episode season 4 will be split into 2 halves, with the second load of episodes released on Netflix 5 weeks later on 1st of July. The potentially upsetting news, the Duffers also revealed that the split season 4, that after the split season 4, season 5 will be the final instalment in the Stranger Things story, concluding the series for good. And there's the tweet, there we go, for the poster. Given the unprecedented length, and to get it to you as soon as possible, season 4 will be released in 2 volumes, the Duffer Brothers said in a statement. Volume 1 will release on May 27th, and Volume 2 will be released 5 weeks later on July 1st. Oh yes, they always release them all at once, don't they? It's not like, they're not like a weekly show, which has been popular lately, hasn't it, on streaming services. They release them all the episodes at once, but they're not doing this time. They're doing 2 volumes. It's coming soon, and it's bigger than ever, they added, and it's also the beginning of the end. And there's another picture. 7 years ago, 7 years ago, we planned out the complete story arc for Stranger Things. At the time, we predicted the story would last 4 to 5 seasons. It proved too large to tell in 4, but as you'll see for yourselves, we are now hurtling toward our finale. Season 4 will be the penultimate season. Season 5 will be the last. The news is bound to give fans some mixed feelings, with plenty excited that the series, which follows a group of children and adults in 1980s Indiana who get caught up in extra-dimensional monster attacks, will be back after a fairly long absence, while others are more upset that the end is in sight. Still, before that end, fans still have plenty to dig into the longest ever season. Will Hopper escape from the Russian prison? What's up with the creepy house? And why is there another Demogorgon out in the world? Princess, just run past me. Meanwhile, the official synopsis suggests yet another monster might be troubling our heroes as they recover from the events of 2019 Stranger Things 3. It's been 6 months since the Battle of Starcourt, which brought terror and destruction to Hawkins. Struggling with the aftermath, our group of friends are separated for the first time. And navigating the complexities of high school hasn't made things any easier. In this most vulnerable time, a new and horrifying supernatural threat surfaces, presenting a gruesome mystery that, if solved, might finally put an end to the horrors of the Upside Down. The series stars David Harbour, Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, Winona Ryder, Maya Hawke and Joe Keery among a larger ensemble cast, with new characters aka unexpected heroes also teased for the new season. And there's another tweet with some upside down writing, see what they did there. And there you go, I'm not reading all that, but it's a picture on Twitter. What does it say? Let's have a quick read. Can we make it bigger? Oh no, we're going to Twitter now, aren't we? No, we won't do that. Hi nerds, do you copy? It's been a little while. With 9 scripts, over 800 pages, almost 2 years of filming, thousands of visual effects shots, and a runtime nearly twice the length of any previous season. Can I make this bigger? See if we can make this bigger. Where are you going? Where are you going? There we go. We can read that now, can't we? How are you reading it? Yeah. The Stranger Things 4 was the most challenging season yet, but also the most rewarding one. Everyone involved is incredibly proud of the results, and we can't wait to share it with you. Given the unprecedented length, and to get it to you as soon as possible, Season 4 will be released in 2 volumes. Volume 1 will release on May 27th. Volume 2 will release 5 weeks later on July 1st. So that's the good news. It's coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. It's also the beginning of the end. 7 years ago, we planned out the complete story arc for Stranger Things. At the time, we predicted the story would last 4 to 5. I've just read all this to you now. We'll carry on. Would last 4 to 5 seasons. It proved too large to tell in 4, but as you'll soon see for yourselves, we are now hurtling toward our finale. Season 4 will be the penultimate season. Season 5 will be the last. They said that about Supernatural, didn't they? There are still many more exciting stories to tell within the world of Stranger Things, but it's Netflix, innit? They won't let it go for 15 seasons, a little like Supernatural. New mysteries, new adventures, new unexpected heroes, and first we hope that you stay with us as we finish this tale of a powerful girl named Eleven and her brave friends, of a broken police chief and a ferocious mom, of a small town called Hawkins and an alternate dimension known only as the Upside Down. As always, we are grateful for your patience and support. Over and out, Matt and Ross. Right, that's smaller again. Am I going right? I'm going wrong way, aren't I? There we go. You there, steady. There we go. And with that, yeah, hang on, we haven't done yet. Oh yeah, I've just read it out, and they're just carrying on reading that. There we go. So that's to tell you when it comes out again, and obviously some sort of trailer, but I'm not going to play it because I keep getting copyright strikes, so I won't bother. Stupid YouTube, are you listening? What is the point, What is the point of letting people do things and then you knock them down? But I digress. So there you go, Stranger Things Season 4, on its way, Part 1. And I'm sure it'll be okay. I quite like Stranger Things. Obviously the first season was the best, and the others have been okay. They've been fun, haven't they? And that's all that matters, I suppose. So 2 more seasons and then that's it, unless it goes somewhere else. I don't think Netflix will let it keep going for long. Longer than 5 seasons, no, I don't think. They'll let it go. So maybe Amazon will pick it up if the Duffer Brothers want to continue it. But maybe they won't, and they'll just move on to something else. We'll see. Right, next. Avengers End Game, called the final Avengers movie by Marvel boss. Is it actually End Game? Now I think this is a bit of a misunderstanding. People have taken this out of context, I think, but we shall read anyway. Avengers End Game hit the big screen almost 3 years ago, and according to Marvel boss Kevin Feige, it may be the final Avengers movie. This is what I mean. Well, at least that seems to be the case in the context of the Infinity Saga, if his words are taken at face value. Speaking as part of the Assembled, the Making of Eternals Disney Plus documentary, the producer explained via Total Film, Marvel Studios and the Marvel Cinematic Universe are now past their 10th anniversary, and with the release of the final Avengers movie, we finally completed a 22-movie Infinity Saga, and jolly good it was for the most part. Where do we go from there? Where do we start? He added. And what we really wanted to do was 2 things. Start fresh with whole new characters, new storylines, but actually go back to some of the deepest, richest mythology in all of Marvel Comics. Feige previously teased a possible Avengers 5 last year, however, telling IGN at their time, I would have to think we could see more. I have to say, yes, at some point. The producer went on to joke, it's a good title. Could use that, or at some point. Very funny, Kevin. Stick to producing. Around the time Endgame was released, Feige also assured everyone that if a follow-up did happen, it would focus on a very different incarnation of the team, with some people you've already met and some people you haven't. Still, even if there's no Avengers 5, there are plenty of crossovers between MCU superheroes to come, notably Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness coming up this May. The anticipated movie is set to feature the titular hero, of course, alongside Wanda Maximoff and more potential big names too, and then blah blah blah. So there, but I think he's been taken out of context. He's been taken out of context. Where are we? The release of the final Avengers movie. I think he just meant the latest Avengers movie, the last one so far, not the last one ever. I think that's what he meant, just the last one so far. That's what I think. Because I think some of these new characters that they've got coming through in Phase 4, were part of the Avengers in the comics. Obviously I'm not an expert, but I've heard people who are experts say that characters like Moon Knight and others, we're in the Avengers. We're part of the Avengers team, so they could carry it on. They could do another Avengers film, or they could just do another team up movie. of the new characters and call it something else, because there are other groups, aren't there? So anyway, we shall see what happens. So that's that. But I think it's been not misquoted, but taken at face value a bit too much, because quite a lot of people have reported on this one, saying no more Avengers movies. But that's not what he meant, I don't think. But anyway, right, next up is another list, because who doesn't like a list? 5 sci-fi movies that reinvented the genre and 5 that didn't. Let's see what we've got. There are countless movies that can be considered definitive examples of sci-fi. Sorry, I'm full of gas today, and I've had no pop. Maybe I should have more. Although only a handful can truly claim to have reinvented the genre. And there's a picky of Baron Harkonnen from the new Dune film, or Dune film. And there's an alien, I think that's from the original Alien, isn't it? With, don't ask me his name, in the suit. Thingamabob. Right, elements of science fiction have been observed in literature since the Epic of Gilgamesh, a 3,000 plus year old Mesopotamian text. And as Captain Picard said, Gilgamesh, a king in Uruk. Hey, good episode that, Darmok. Right, anyway. However, the first proper work of sci-fi is generally acknowledged to be Frankenstein from 1818. The genre took a long time to progress beyond Mary Shelley, but the writings of H.G. Wells combined with the birth of cinema helped evolve sci-fi far beyond its literary roots. I mean, yeah, I suppose you could, yeah. I mean, I think there were things before that, but I'm not sure at dates without checking, so I don't know. So I'm not embarrass myself with my own ignorance. Right, anyway. I'm thinking of that Sleepy Hollow, what is it, Ichabod, not Ichabod, Rip Van Winkle, them sort of stories, they're kind of science fiction, aren't they? But or are they more fantasy? I don't know. And were they before 1818? I think they were. I think they were at 1700s, weren't they? But anyway, whatever. Right. Over the past century, see, I've embarrassed myself already. Over the past century, science fiction has been broken down into a number of subgenres, from post-apocalyptic to steampunk and everything in between. There are countless movies that can be considered definitive examples of sci-fi, although only a handful can truly claim to have reinvented the genre itself. Right, number 10. Reinvented the genre. Alien. Although, does that say Alien? Alan? I think it's just an I, but with a very close to its dot. Alien 1979 has influenced the sci-fi genre in unexpected ways. And there's the chest burster coming out of the late great John Hurt's chest. And very effective it was, although it did look a bit goofy when it ran off. But I always think of the Spaceballs Alien now when I see that, when it gets its little boater and its cane. Goes, hello my baby, hello my honey, that one. Anyway, I digress. Right, Ridley Scott may have directed Alien, but it's Sigourney Weaver's Ellen Ripley who has become the enduring face of the classic franchise. The movie seamlessly blends a variety of genres into its sci-fi narrative, from horror and fantasy to action and thriller. Alien blew the lid off Hollywood when it was released, further delving into its unique universe through James Cameron's Aliens 1986. As a testament to its long-standing cultural influence, critic Roger Ebert amended his original review from real disappointment to a great original. Critics. Alien went on to influence sci-fi in ways nobody could have imagined in 1979. Sorry about that. All stuck then, didn't it? I was thinking about Roger Ebert, because they were in Montler and they were his partner. See, I'm British, we don't really know him, but the people always hold them up, Ebert and whoever, Gene Siskel and Ebert. They always hold them up as these amazing critics that, you've got to take what they say as gospel, but they were always, nearly always, like, particularly genre works, they were always like, it's rubbish and it's just the same old thing, one after another, blah, rubbish, blah, blah, blah. Particularly Gene Siskel. I think Roger Ebert were a bit, or it was the other way around, I can't remember. One of them were a bit more forgiving than the other. But as I say, they were an American thing, weren't they? We had Barry Norman, and that's all we needed, didn't we? And why not? That was his thing. Right, number 9. Didn't reinvent the genre. Independence Day 1996 established the global disaster subgenre. Right, so in a way it kind of did reinvent the genre then. Independence Day is a spectacular undertaking of truly monumental proportions, anchored by stellar performances from Will Smith, Randy Quaid, Jeff Goldblum and many others. The movie is credited for its major role in establishing the global disaster subgenre. Independence Day was criticised for its exhaustingly tepid plot, but that didn't stop the movie from earning over 10 times its production budget at the box office. On the other hand, Independence Day Resurgence 2016 failed to match its predecessor in nearly every aspect. And there's the White House getting blown up. Apparently a lot of people cheered in America at that. But didn't establish the global disaster subgenre. So in a way it did kind of reinvent the genre because it had an impact, didn't it? So I think they're just being a bit pissy there, because I love Independence Day, and you know what, I quite enjoy Independence Day Resurgence. So poo to all the naysayers, that's what I say. The fun films, and you know, not to be taken seriously. So, you know, stop me so miserable. Number 8. Reinvented the genre. The Matrix breathed new life into Hollywood cyberpunk. And there's Keanu coming out of his pod. The Wachowskis breathed new life into the cyberpunk with The Matrix, but you see, Dark City came out before it. And that's very similar in a lot of ways. But The Matrix, you know, caught the imagination. Taking the subgenre into the 21st century with a refreshingly vibrant narrative, the film and its occasionally overlooked sequels have thoroughly ingrained themselves in the fabric of popular consciousness, eventually spawning a host of related multimedia products. I'm struggling tonight, aren't I? I struggle every night. The hitherto unknown technique known as bullet time, masterfully translated on screen using a combination of computer-generated effects and slow-motion cinematography, is particularly significant. I don't know, I think it had been done before though, hadn't it? What had we seen it done in before The Matrix came out? I think it might have been done in Wing Commander. You know, where they used loads of cameras, didn't they, around, and then shot people, and then using a computer, you know, made it go when they're all frozen. And I think Wing Commander came out before The Matrix, and I think another film used it as well, but I can't remember what. But anyway, unfortunately, The Matrix Resurrections. Sorry, did I read that? I don't know. It don't matter, does it? Unfortunately, The Matrix Resurrections wasn't half as innovative, whatever, as the original trilogy. Yeah, it wasn't very good, was it? I quite enjoyed Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. Or was it just Revolution? Whatever. Saying whatever a lot tonight, aren't I? Stop it. But Matrix Resurrections, you know, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't very good, was it? But they say reinvented the genre. But did it reinvent it, or did it just breathe new life into it? If you're saying that reinvented the genre, then you should say Independence Day reinvented the genre. In my opinion. Right, number 7. Didn't reinvent the genre. Dune. How do I pronounce that? I'm going to say Dune. 2021 has several minor inconsistencies that prevent it from becoming one of the sci-fi greats. Looks like me sat in Bath, that. Denis Villeneuve's Dune carries on the cinematic tradition brought forth by David Lynch's allegedly incomprehensible, ugly, unstructured 1984 adaptation, which I love. I think it's a brilliant film. You know, it's got its problems, but it's a great watch. The newest version garnered widespread acclaim from critics, as well as obtaining a whopping 10 nominations at the 2022 Academy Awards, but not for Best Director. Dune's vivid brutalism and expansive landscapes are nothing short of exquisite, but the film's minor inconsistencies prevent it from becoming one of the sci-fi greats. The upcoming sequel might be able to fix Dune's problems with casting, though. So what's these inconsistencies? Just casting? Is that what? Oh, pardon me. Because I had fish and chips and mushy peas and pickled onions. I think it's the pickled onions repeating on me. That's what I've had for my tea, because it's Friday. Where were we? So is that all the same minor inconsistencies are just casting, is it? Because, it's a pretty good film. But I would agree, it didn't reinvent the genre, but, it's a pretty good film. Right, number 6, reinvented the genre. Jurassic Park, 1993, revolutionised the concept of the Hollywood blockbuster. I don't know if it revolutionised that, but it was a groundbreaking film, so it reinvented the dinosaur genre, didn't it? Although Jaws is generally considered to be the first major Hollywood blockbuster, King Kong 1933 was the first major Hollywood blockbuster, mate. Unbelievable. It was Jurassic Park that made Steven Spielberg a household name. The film takes its audience, because they know where the word blockbuster comes from. I don't think they do they? They just think, blockbuster is just a film that made loads of money. No, it's a film that crowds, the queues for the came out of the movie theatre and went round the block. Because obviously in America they have blocks, don't they? We don't in this country, but in America, they're on blocks. So the queues went round the block and came all the way back round again. So that's why they were called blockbusters. Who was this with? Who were we with here? Who's is it? CBR.com. I don't know what CBR stands for. Comic book something. Don't know. Don't care. Anyway, where were we? The film takes its audience on a dangerously thrilling ride through Isla Nublar's titular dinosaur park, carefully avoiding the expositional pitfalls in Michael Crichton's 1990 novel. The legacy left behind by Jurassic Park's historic success is evident to this day, given that it practically revolutionised the field of CGI visual effects, which still stand up today. It's an amazing film, and it's not perfect, no film is, but it did reinvent the genre, and it's one of the greatest films of all time. And the effects still stand up. I mean, a lot of the effects, reason the effects still stand up is a lot of them were practical. And surprisingly small amount of CG, but a lot of them were practical. That's why they still stand up. But the CG still stands up, and it's one of the first films to have photorealistic CG, and it still looks amazing. I know it wasn't the first, it was one of the first. I think the first for photorealistic CG, blended into real life, I think it was the young Sherlock Holmes, where they had a knight come out of a stained glass window, so it was made out of stained glass. This knight, and I think that's generally thought of as being the first photorealistic CG. Although there had been CG in movies before, obviously Tron and Last Starfighter, which were nearly photorealistic. What else? There's a section of Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, the Genesis thing. That was CG, wasn't it? That was an early example. But there might be some going back even further. I can't remember. Although in the 70s, there was a film in the early 70s that had some CG in. I think there were, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, number 5 didn't reinvent the genre. Avatar. It reinvented the 3D genre, didn't it? 2009 is visually gorgeous but lacks thematic uniqueness. Well, that's James Cameron, isn't it? He makes amazing films, but they're not exactly original, are they? I mean, how many times has he had to put a disclaimer in his film saying, thank you for the inspiration, or something like that, I mean, Terminator, he got sued, didn't he, by Harlan Ellison. He had to put something in the credits, didn't he? Thanking Harlan Ellison. Or, recognising Harlan Ellison for the inspiration. Anyway, James Cameron's Avatar is legendary on several levels, largely in terms of technical innovation. Critics more or less appreciated the film's many virtues, but it was the audience that turned it into the second highest grossing film of all time, even after inflation adjustments. I think it's still the first now, isn't it? I think it's back at number 1, I think. Avatar's only notable drawback lies in its redundant tropes of imperialism, as in The Last Samurai and Pocahontas. Don't forget Dances with Wolves and Fern Gully. Nevertheless, Avatar is all set to make a comeback in sequel form at the end of 2022. So that's my attempt at a Dave Nice impression from Fab FM. Sorry. Yeah, I really liked Avatar. A lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people did, which is why it's the highest grossing film of all time. But I thought it were okay. Yeah, it wasn't original. It were Dances with Wolves, Pocahontas, Fern Gully, Smurfs in space. But it were well made, and it had, there were great world building in it, Pandora and all its wildlife and everything. Yes, it were good, and I look forward to the sequel. But I'm not busting the gut to see it, but I look forward to it because it's supposed to be doing things with 3D again, isn't it? Because Avatar brought 3D to the fore, didn't it? And with the glasses and stuff. And supposedly this new one is going to be 3D again, but you don't need glasses. I don't know how they're going to do this one. It'll be some new thing that'll cost theatres tons of money to project, because they'll have to get all new equipment in a bit. But we'll see. Right, number 4. Reinvented the genre. Star Wars 1977. Impact on pop culture cannot be downplayed. And there's Luke Skywalker looking at the twin suns, binary sunset, etc. The first Star Wars movie, later subtitled Episode 4 A New Hope, is set around the age-old hero's journey narrative. Luke Skywalker is bound to his destiny as the galaxy's saviour, one which he fulfills after an epic struggle. Downplaying Star Wars' impact on pop culture is inconceivable. The film is deemed as a cinematic watershed that influenced many of the movies that came after. A host of filmmakers cite Star Wars as a dominant influence on their craft, including Roland Emmerich, David Fincher, Chris Nolan and Peter Jackson. Well, he has a lot of them in there. Oh, excuse me. I've probably got a nose full of bogies. I should have blown it. We'll soldier on. If anything pops out, let me know somehow. But yeah, you can't deny Star Wars reinvented the sci-fi genre and the popular movie thing. But it had. After Star Wars, up until Star Wars, you could go to pictures and see 2 films for the price of one. You had a main film and a B feature, didn't you? Star Wars came along and knocked all that into a cocked hat, didn't it? Because after that, you didn't see many, double feature, movies, did you? With an A film and a B film. That stopped because of Star Wars, pretty much. I'm blaming it anyway, so there. But yeah, Star Wars is amazing and deserves to be. I don't know why it's at number 4. But anyway, maybe they're not in any order. Maybe it's just what came to the mind as they wrote the article. Number 3. Didn't reinvent the genre. Are we still recording? We are. Right. Number 3. Didn't reinvent the genre. Minority Report 2002 isn't radical, but remains an exceptional sci-fi work. I won't go that far. I wouldn't have included it. I wouldn't have used it as an example in this list. It's good, but it's not, not that good, is it? Minority Report, yet another Spielberg offering, was adapted from Philip K. Dick's 1956 short story of the same name. The movie, while prominently sci-fi in scope and storyline, is a cocktail of multiple subgenres like murder mystery and tech-noir. Minority Report's undercurrents are decidedly philosophical, with its central concept founded on the debate between casual determinism and free will. Most reviewers regard Minority Report as an exceptional addition to the genre, but it's just not radical enough to redefine sci-fi. Well, yeah, it's an okay film. I don't know why it's in this list, to be honest. Maybe they were struggling to find a top 10. But yeah, it's good. With the pre-crime division one, it's all about basically it's thought police, isn't it? If you think you're going to do a crime, if they think you're going to do a crime, they arrest you for it, don't they? And before you've done it, and so there's a lot of connotations, of the surveillance state and all that, and Big Brother, and one thing that this film did tackle, or did cover slightly, is tailored adverts, which you get now online, don't you? Get advertising tailored to what you've looked at on the internet. And so like on Facebook or whatever, or some social media, if you've elsewhere on you've gone to Amazon or something and bought a box of pencils or something, you'll suddenly get loads of adverts for pencils, won't you, on Twitter and Facebook and all that. So that's something that they did in that, didn't they? But anyway, there you go. So Minority Report, yeah, it's alright, but I don't know why it's in this list. And it didn't reinvent the genre, which, yeah, not even close. Number 2, reinvented the genre. Back to the Future 1985, rooted sci-fi within the teen comedy subgenre. Yeah, but it did reinvent the genre. It reinvented the action comedy subgenre, didn't it? Back to the Future was rejected on numerous occasions before landing a deal with Universal Pictures. Don't get me talking about Universal. Ooh. Copyright strikes. Unbelievable. The film quickly became a massive hit on all fronts, blossoming into TV series, board games, video games, theme park rides, and comic books. Back to the Future reworked the time travel approach by rooting it within the teen comedy subgenre, an artistic choice that paid off multiple times over. President Ronald Reagan was one of the movie's most famous fans, using its most iconic line, "Where we're going, we don't need roads," during the State of the Union address in 1986. So yeah, I mean, Back to the Future's amazing. It's one of these films that's basically classed as perfect, isn't it? The perfect film. I mean, no film's perfect, is it? But I think Back to the Future is as close to perfect as you can get. I mean, sure, I suppose you can pick it to bits with its sci-fi, with its time travel shenanigans, but it's that much fun to watch. It doesn't matter, does it? If there's mistakes or stuff like that, it don't matter, because it's an amazing film. And Back to the Future's alright, and Back to the Future Part 2's alright, and Back to the Future 3 is okay, and I don't think they should remake them, because it just wouldn't be the same. And number 1, don't know why it's number 1. I think they're not in any particular order. Didn't reinvent the genre. Starship Troopers 1997 is a spectacular satire, albeit slightly unwieldy in its commentary on fascism. Robert Heinlein, I think it did though. I think it kind of did reinvent the genre, because sci-fi up to then, we'd not seen science fiction enemies along the line, like the arachnids before, until Starship Troopers. I mean, all those arachnids coming to the fort where they're trying to hold the fort, is just like an amazing scene, isn't it? Still don't know how they did it back then, but it took ages to render. Anyway, Robert Heinlein is known for reinventing the sci-fi genre, especially through his landmark 1961 novel Stranger in a Strange Land. His Starship Troopers 1959 helped bring politics to the forefront of sci-fi, and has been referred to as the ancestral text of US science fiction militarism. Although Paul Verhoeven's adaptation was initially a critical bust, the movie gradually received recognition for its parodic elements over the next 2 decades. No, I don't like gradually, because they're there from the start, aren't they? Immediately you watch it, you know that it's parodying modern, news reporting and gung-ho sword waving. But anyway, Starship Troopers is a spectacularly designed satire, albeit slightly unwieldy in its commentary on fascism. Starship Troopers, it's a good film, and it's worth watching, and it kind of did reinvent the genre of the, in terms of the CG used for the arachnids, I mean, I think the ships were models, and they were like traditionally shot models. But I think that's some CG enhancements when there were explosions and stuff. But I think I would say that did reinvent the genre pretty much, because it's a film that stands by itself. And nobody's really tried. I mean, even the sequels are not even really half as good as that, as the first one. And it stands on its own, and it's never really been, copied. So there we go. And that's that. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that for that one. I'm not sure about this list. I mean, some of them, I agree with, some of them I don't. But, it's all subjective, innit? It's not... Whether I agree with it or not doesn't really matter. Everybody's right. Everybody has their opinion. And nobody's wrong, but nobody's always entirely right. Right, we're on to more sciencey news now. So we're back to Elon Musk. He's in the news lately, isn't he? But in a different way. Come on, don't start. Are you going to come on? Let's do it. Let's see. Did it? Let's do a refresh and see if that makes it come on. Hey, it did this yesterday, didn't it? Is it going to come on? Oh, it's annoying when it does this. There's going to be some editing here now, tell you. Look, it's saying that. Tell you what we'll do then. We'll copy that. Did it? Close that. It's not letting me. Oh, yeah. And you're getting a clue. We get a clue then of the last story. We'll paste and go and do it this way. There we go. Thousands of Britons facing internet blackout as Musk's satellites in critical state. Elon Musk's satellite company Starlink is facing outages as a critical warning has been issued for London. The warning was issued at 6:56 a.m. by Fingerpick Internet Alert. They reported that a critical internet outage was ongoing for Starlink in England. The issue is said to have started at 12:50 a.m. with London impacted. It is not yet clear what the source of the problem is, but Ofgem estimates there are around 27,000 homes and businesses in the UK that rely on satellite broadband. Pardon me. To date, SpaceX has launched more than 2,000 satellites for its Starlink network. May I have a drink, sorry. Excuse me. Mercury Rapids. Buy it. Where were we? To date, SpaceX has launched more than 2,000 satellites for its Starlink network. Mr. Musk began rolling out its internet service to customers last year and now has approximately 145,000 users in 25 countries worldwide. Starlink is available to order in more than 6 counties and recently rolled out its Better Than Nothing beta test, or beta test. However you want to pronounce it, I say beta, you say beta. And there he is, looking a bit like some sort of like Chinese communist leader, watching that May Day parade. But that's Russia. It costs $99, £73 a month, that's dear, plus £366, $499 for a kit with a tripod, a Wi-Fi router, and a terminal to connect to the Starlink satellites. Philip Hall in rural Devon, southwest England, told Insider he was one of the first people in the UK to receive the Starlink kit and test out its internet connection. Hall has barely any internet connection where he lives, making running a business and contacting the family extremely challenging. Despite the connection dropping out from time to time and the limited range of the signal, he said Starlink was a hope and a prayer. It comes after 40 Starlink satellites were wiped out by a solar storm just a day after launch earlier this month. The company said up to 40 of 49 satellites on February 9th. I mean, satellites were lost or whatever on February 9th. SpaceX said onboard GPS suggested the escalation speed and severity of the storm caused atmospheric drag to increase up to 50% higher than during previous launches. The tech company tried to put the satellites into a safe mode, but was unsuccessful. They headed back to Earth orbit. You mean back out? They headed out of Earth, burning up in the atmosphere on their way back. That makes no sense whatsoever. Right, that's it. There we go. There we go. So they could, if you've got Starlink internet, you could be having problems finding a connection, I presume. Maybe there's some sort of gap. Or there could be this solar storm might have a larger impact than we're being told. Conspiracy time! But I'm sure they'll sort it out. I'm sure. But there might be a gap in the coverage, yeah. There might be a gap in the orbiting satellites, because they're not geostationary, are they? Like the satellite TV satellites are in geostationary orbit, but the Starlink ones are quite low, aren't they? So that you've got to have one going over at the time, which is why they're launched in groups. In what they call them, I don't know, in groups. Of around about 60 at a time, don't they launch usually. Sometimes less, sometimes 49. And so they're in a string of satellites, aren't they? But there you go. Anyway, so problems with that. But I'm not with Starlink, and I don't know anybody who is. Right, last one, another bit of sciencey news to do with dinosaurs. No, we've talked about dinosaurs with Jurassic Park, but this is something totally different. Giant crocodile, except it wasn't. If we read on, it wasn't a giant crocodile. Discovered with baby dinosaur still in its stomach. From the Lad Bible, those purveyors of quality paleontological fossil news. Scientists have discovered that a 93 million year old crocodile had eaten a baby dinosaur shortly before its death, having used nuclear techniques to scan the fossilised stomach contents. The crocodile's remains were found inside a large boulder in central Queensland, Australia, back in 2010. Now a team from the Australian Age of Dinosaurs Museum and the University of New England have used advanced nuclear and synchrotron imaging. That sounds like something from the 60s, doesn't it? Step into the synchrotron, and it all spins round and flashing lights. Imaging to confirm that the hungry croc had eaten a juvenile dinosaur before it died, having published their findings in the journal Gondwana Research. And I'm presuming, I can't read the writing, it's too small, but this looks like, the scanning that they did. And there's an artist's rendition of the crocodile getting the little tiny dinosaur. It looks like something like a Psittacosaurus or something like that, one of them little herbivores. Or something like that. Anyway, right. The crocodile has been named Confractosuchus soroctonus, which translates as the broken crocodile dinosaur killer, and measured about 2 to 2.5 metres in length. So not exactly giant, is it? It's like 7 foot, isn't it? 7 or 8 feet. You get bigger crocodiles than that now. The broken part of its name refers to the fact that it was discovered in a huge shattered boulder. Senior instrument scientist Dr. Joseph Bevitt, co-author of the study, said the fossilised remains were found in a large boulder. Concretions often form when organic matter, or say a crocodile, sinks to the bottom of a river. Because the environment is rich in minerals, within days the mud around the organism can solidify, and harden because of the presence of bacteria. According to a press release from the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation, ANSTO, early neutron imaging scans of one rock fragment from the boulder detected bones of the small chicken-sized juvenile dinosaur in the gut, an ornithopod that has not yet been formally identified by species. The dinosaur bones were embedded within the dense ironstone rock and were serendipitously discovered when the sample was exposed to the penetrative power of neutrons. Call Kevin Feige. Bevitt said, in the initial scan in 2015, I spotted a buried bone in there that looked like a chicken bone with a hook on it and thought straight away that it was a dinosaur. Human eyes had never seen it previously, as it was, and still is, totally encased in rock. The finding led to further high-res scans using Dingo, Australia's only neutron imaging instrument, which can be used to produce 2D and 3D images of a solid object and reveal concealed features within it, and the synchrotron X-ray imaging and medical beam line. And there's more pictures. 3D digital scans of the imaging and medical beamline guided the physical preparation of the crocodile, which was impossible without knowing precisely where the bones were, Bevitt said, before adding, the results were outstanding in providing an entire picture of the crocodile and its last meal, a partially digested juvenile dinosaur. To confirm the dinosaur was indeed in the crocodile's gut, the team observed infilled worm tunnels, plant roots and geological features that extended between rock fragments. Bevitt said the chemistry of the rock provided the evidence. The team believe it is likely the crocodile had been caught in a mega flood event, was buried and died suddenly. The specimens are now on display at the Australian Age of Dinosaurs Museum, Winton. There we go, that's very interesting, isn't it? Crocodile ate a little tiny dinosaur and then died and was buried and became a fossil. So there we go, that's all the news for tonight. That's all I found anyway. So we'll get rid of that. Bye, crocodile. So there we go. That's it for tonight. What main news? Oh, John Williams. Yeah, John Williams is doing Star Wars again, albeit on TV and just the Obi-Wan theme. And I forgot the rest. Stranger Things. Stranger Things is coming. Season 4. There's going to be no. And season 5 is going to be the last. And there were other stuff as well, which I forgot already because I'm hopeless. Let's have a look. There are Avengers End Game, one thing. Kevin Feige getting kind of misquoted, but not really. And the SciFi Movies, yeah. So there we go. So quite a slow news day, apart from the John Williams thing. Hopefully there'll be a bit more tomorrow, but I have waffled on for quite a while, and I think it's time I sodded off and did other things. I think Princess might want to go out. She came down, a bit ago. She's had something to eat, and it's gone quiet. She hasn't come running around, so I think she might be waiting by the door. She does that because she's gorgeous. So anyway, I'll leave it there, and we'll have some more news tomorrow. So until then, I'll see thee.